bright, saturated photos appear on the screen. We see two friends, Alex and Max, against the backdrop of the snowy peaks of Hokkaido. They are smiling, holding expensive cameras and drones in their hands. Their clothes look new and technological. The next photo is a screenshot of their social profile, where they write that they are ready to conquer any peak. The narrator's voice sounds calm and confident. He tells about how, in the modern world, nature is often perceived only as a background for digital content. For these friends, the forest around Mount Tokachi was not a living ecosystem, but a set of locations for shooting. They planned the route for a week, studying maps and applications. Their gear cost huge money. GPS navigators, satellite phones, thermal imagers created an illusion of complete safety. They felt masters of the situation, confident that technology would protect them from any surprises. On the screen is a photo of a smartphone with a green safety zone on the map. Then a photo of friends taking a selfie. The narrator explains that they planned 3 hours of walking to the viewpoint and return for dinner. But hidden in this calm is the main mistake. They forgot that the Japanese forest does not forgive arrogance. Here, at northern latitudes, the weather obeys ancient laws, not forecasters. The first signs of danger are invisible. The narrator describes the change in pressure and the smell of ozone before snow. A photo of fog creeping up the slope appears on the screen. It looks like a living creature, absorbing light. The drone in the photo hovers in the air, its indicators blinking red. This is the first trigger of the story. The contrast between technological comfort and primitive elements becomes obvious. Gadgets still work, but nature has already declared war. Silence arrives before evening should fall. This is not peace. This is the calm before the storm. On the screen is a photo of a trail fork. One road goes left toward civilization. The other goes into a dense forest where visibility is limited to 10 meters. The narrator tells that Alex saw a beam of light breaking through the tree crowns deep in the forest. He insisted on going off route for a unique shot. Max hesitated, looked at the navigator, but agreed. The sound of steps changes. The narrator describes how the crunch of branches becomes louder, and steps are muffled by wet moss. A graphical scheme of the terrain appears on the screen. A red line shows the deviation from the route. The narrator explains the technical reason for their problems. The volcanic soils of Hokkaido are rich in iron. This creates local magnetic anomalies. Compasses here can be off by 10, sometimes even 20 degrees. Electronics dependent on the magnetic field begin to glitch. On the screen is a photo of a black navigator screen with the inscription, "No signal." The fog thickens so much that friends cannot see each other clearly. The narrator describes the moment of realization. The trail has disappeared. They are surrounded by tree trunks that look identical in every direction. The temperature drops 10 degrees in an hour. This is not just cold. It is a physiological shock for an organism unprepared for rapid hypothermia. At this moment, they ceased to be tourists. They became victims of the terrain. Panic is a luxury the forest does not allow. But it is the first thing to arrive. Fear cools the blood faster than the winter wind. On the screen are dark photos of the night forest. Flashlights catch only clouds of steam from breathing. The narrator tells about how friends tried to walk forward, hoping to reach the road. But the human brain in the dark begins to draw threats. The Japanese forest at night is populated by sounds. The narrator describes these sounds in detail. The cry of a deer in the fog can sound like a human scream. The noise of branches, like the steps of a pursuer. This psychological pressure breaks the will faster than the cold. On the screen is a photo of a track in the snow leading to the edge of a ravine. The narrator recounts how Max trips. Under the layer of fallen leaves, a ravine filled with water and ice is hidden. He falls down, 3 meters. His leg is twisted. The sound of the body hitting the ground is described in words as dull and heavy. Breathing becomes intermittent. The narrator explains the physics of survival. An injury in survival conditions is a critical point. Now they cannot just walk. They are tied to this place. Hypothermia begins unnoticed. When body temperature drops below 35 degrees, a person stops shivering. This is a dangerous sign. The body saves energy by shutting down extra functions. The narrator describes the sounds of the night in detail. The sound of a drop falling on a leaf seems like thunder. Their own heartbeat sounds like a drum in their ears. The forest begins to mimic sounds of civilization. They think they hear the noise of a car, but it is just wind in the gorge. This is a false hope that can become fatal. On the screen is a photo of the morning forest. Gray, cold sky. Alex examines Max's leg. The swelling is growing. The narrator tells about the dialogue, retelling it in his own words. Alex understands that waiting is impossible. Need to go down. Max asks where to go since they are lost. Alex remembers an old rule. Water. Always go down the water. An archival photo of Julian Kupsi appears on the screen. The narrator tells the story of the girl, the sole survivor after a plane crash in the Amazon in 1971. She fell from a height of 3 kilometers into the Peruvian jungle. She survived not because she was strong. She survived because she remembered her father's advice. If you get lost, find a stream. A stream flows into a river. A river leads to people. This is the law of hydrology that works in the Amazon and in the forests of Hokkaido. On the screen is a photo of friends using a bamboo branch as a cane. They find a small stream of water breaking through the stones. They begin to move down the current. The narrator describes the heaviness of this path. The stones are slippery. A bamboo branch is used as a support. They do not panic. They begin to move methodically. Alex tears the bright jacket off Max and ties it to a high tree in an open area. This is a signal marker. For rescuers from the air, a bright spot against the background of the green and gray forest is a beacon. The narrator describes the fight against hypothermia. They do not stop for long. Movement generates heat. They eat snow to quench their thirst, but slowly so as not to cool the esophagus. Every decision is weighed. The sun sets again. On the screen is a photo of a wooden structure through the trees. It is an abandoned shrine, Hokora. Nearby is a trail leading to it. This is a sign that they have reached human places. On the screen is a photo of a rescue team in orange vests. They help load Max into the helicopter. Alex stands nearby. He looks exhausted, but calm. The narrator reports that they were found after 36 hours, without frostbite, without serious consequences. What saved them? Not luck, not a powerful phone. They were saved by one timely, correct decision: to go down the flow of water. On the screen is the final shot, the forest, from a bird's eye view. It looks beautiful and endless. The narrator sums up. The forest is not a backdrop for photos. It is a complex system requiring respect. Like the Amazon for Julian, the Japanese wilderness does not forgive mistakes, but rewards knowledge. Modern carelessness crashed against ancient nature. But survival knowledge became a bridge back to civilization. Text appears on the screen. Respect nature. Study survival rules. Do not rely only on technology. The narrator finishes his speech. The sound of wind fades. Silence comes. This story reminds us that in a world full of gadgets, the most important knowledge remains ancient. Instinct, discipline, and respect for the elements are the real survival tools. Technology can help, but it cannot replace understanding the laws of nature. The forest remained the same as it was before them. It did not change. They changed. And this lesson they will remember forever.